Boo! Did I scare you? You should be scared. Love can be scary sometimes. Get used to it. Hello! This is Peter. Welcome back to Literary Fiction, the place where we do not have the brains for literary fiction. Welcome back to another week, another video. Today is a special day for everyone. This is why I dressed for the occasion. It's Valentine's Day, the day of love. And what could I celebrate other than my love for books? I'm sure if you're watching this video, you can relate to this. I'm sure you love books as well. So here I am. I got my wand as a microphone. This is Professor McGonagall's wand, my favorite character from Harry Potter. Today I decided to make a video about all the books that I think I will love in 2025. So I'm referring to books that have been out for a while and books that will be released this year. So I will mention my top 10 books that I think I will love this year. So let's get started with the video. So coming in at number 10, we have Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This book, out of all the books in my list, is probably the oldest in my TBR list. I added this book back in 2014 when it was released. I think this series has, since it's been expanded, I think 3 more books are out and another one is coming soon. This is still very popular. This is basically a dystopian story that takes place on Mars, and a man called Darrow, who is a red. So people are divided in reds and golds. The reds are the slaves and the people that do hard labor, and the golds are above them. And I think Darrow gets betrayed and he loses someone he loves, and then he disguises himself as a gold while he cooperates with a rebel group, and he enters a command school of the enemy, and then he poses as the enemy and try to defeat them from the inside. I'm not sure, but since it's a very short read, I think this is a very good introduction to a more sci-fi story based in space, which I'm not very used to. So yeah, this is my number 10. Coming in at number 9, we have the 5th book in the Thursday Murder Club, Richard Osman. This is one of the series that I fell in love with last year. I read all of the books. This is basically set in a retirement village in the UK, and a group of elders is very, very bored, and they form a club where every Thursday they meet and they discuss cold cases and crimes that have not been solved, and they try to solve them, and somehow they do. So the 5th book is coming out in September. I am really attached to these characters. They're so quirky and they're so lovable, and I can't wait to see what's next for them. Next up, at number 8, we have The 5th Season by N.K. Jemisin. I have known about this book for a while, even though it wasn't in my radar to read. I have heard amazing things about N.K. Jemisin, and I have not read any of her books, so this will be my introduction to her. This is basically a story of a mother whose husband kills her son and then kidnaps her daughter, I think, or someone else kidnaps her daughter, I'm not sure. And at the same time, the world is getting destroyed by a huge red rift that has filled the atmosphere with the red smoke thing, and the water cannot be consumed, and people are dying, and among this chaos, she has to find her daughter. I think this will be a very emotional read, but I'm sure I will love it, and I will want to pick up the next few books in the series as well. And then maybe I will pick up more books by N.K. Jemisin, since she's very loved in the book community. Coming in at number 7 of the books that I think I will love this year is Legendborn by Tracy Dion. This book has been in my radar for many years now, and I received it as a birthday present last year. And since then, I've been putting off reading it since I had been expecting the 3rd one to come out, which is coming out, I think, next month or in May, I'm not sure. This is basically an African mythology inspired book. This is a girl whose mother ends up dying, and she wants to find answers about her mother's death, and she finds out that she has magic, and she meets other people that have magic. I haven't really read the synopsis because when I read synopsises, I create expectations for myself, and sometimes when those expectations are not fulfilled, I end up getting disappointing from the book, even though it's a good book. So this is one of the books that I want to get in without knowing much about the story. I have the second book, and once the third one comes out, I will be reading them back to back, maybe a marathon. We'll see. This will be an amazing read, I'm 100% sure. Next up, at number 6, we have The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. This book, I haven't heard much about it. Some booktubers have reviewed it and liked it. The synopsis is very vague. It's basically two people living in a library and people don't know about them or have forgotten about them. The third book in the series comes out in April. I haven't yet picked up the second book, but I will be doing that very soon. So basically, this, apart from the gorgeous cover, this book, I want to read it more for research because one of my writing projects is set in a library, and I think this will be a very eye-opening read, and it will help me, and maybe it will inspire me to start outlining it more. Mark Lawrence, at least for this series, has been blessed with amazing covers. I just saw the cover of the third book, and it's beautiful. I can't wait to have them all in my library one day, maybe in 2 months if shipping is as expected. But yeah, another book I think I'm gonna love. So we have reached the top 5 books that I think I'm gonna love, and at number 5 we have The Will of the Many by James Islington. This is one of the books that I have read amazing things about, mostly about the plot twists and the main character, who apparently is amazing. This is one of the books that I will be reading in my book club with my friends. This is the book that we will be reading in April. So this is basically a story of a guy that is orphaned, and he joins this academy to be trained by the hierarchy. In the academy, he seeks for answers about his parents' death, and he seeks for a weapon that will destroy the Republic. I think this will be an epic read, and I can't wait for April to be here so I can read it. And the only thing about the sequel is that there was an unfortunate cover change. And look at this cover, it's beautiful, and I have seen the new cover, and it's not that gorgeous, it's not that stunning. No, I'm sorry, you should have kept it like this. Coming in at number 4, we have My Friends by Frederick Backman. This is Frederick Backman's new book that is coming out in May, I think. I read the synopsis only once, and I remember having goosebumps as I read it, even though I can't remember the synopsis right now, and I don't want to read it because of the reason I mentioned before. I have read 2 other books by this author. I have read Anxious People and A Man Called Uwe. I also have Bear Town by this author, which I want to read as soon as possible. This author has a way of writing beautiful sentences and incorporating humor in the best possible way, and he weaves amazing stories, and his characters are very realistic. I just want to read everything by this author, and maybe I will go for the audiobook route for this because I listened to Anxious People and it was very entertaining. So I'll give it another shot. We have reached the top 3, and the third book that I think I'm gonna love this year is Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I don't think I have to say much about this book because you probably all know it. This is R.F. Kuang's debut novel, and I think this is gonna be the next book that I read after Iron Flame and Onyx Storm. I don't know what is more annoying, the pimple on my forehead or Violet Sorrengail. Number 2 is Catabasis by R.F. Kuang again. This book sounds very interesting to me. This is basically a story of 2 PhD students that their professor has died, and they go on a journey to hell to find him and get a recommendation letter, I think. It sounds very weird, and it's really up my alley. So this book comes out in August. I have already pre-ordered my limited edition deluxe Harper Voyager edition book thing. I have only read Yellow Face by R.F. Kuang so far. I really liked it. R.F. Kuang has stated that Calabasas will be her most devastating book, and she has written Poppy War and Babel. I don't know how that's possible, and I'm really intrigued for this. I can't wait to read Calabasas. The cover is amazing. Also, a side note, it's amazing that RF Kwang has now control over her book covers, because I think this is something that the publishing industry needs to pay more attention to. Like, yes, the author is responsible for writing the book, but I think as writers, we all have a vision of what our covers would look like. Maybe ask the author to give you a mood board or a Pinterest board with the ideas that they have for the cover and incorporate them. I think some publishing houses do it, but most don't. So yeah, Arif Kwang, good job on the cover. And finally, the book that I want to read the most this year, and I think I will love the most, it is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. No surprise here. I think I mentioned it in every video that I am a huge Hunger Games fan, and as the years go by, people make theories about what the next Suzanne Collins book is gonna be about, and I think the most popular idea is Haymitch's games, either that or Phoenix games. The most important thing about a new Suzanne Collins book is that, as she has said before, she writes books only when she has something to say, and given the current climate, I think this will be very appropriate. I will buy it on my Kindle as soon as it comes out at midnight, and I will try to read it as soon as possible. And I want to make a review so bad. I want to discuss it so bad, because sometimes I think that when I want to talk about the Hunger Games, maybe since many years have passed, maybe they are irrelevant, maybe people don't want to hear about it, but since a new book is coming out, they are more relevant than ever. I'm 100% sure that I will love this book. Even reading the first chapter, the first page actually, made me so happy. Haymitch is a very interesting character, and I want to know how he became the man that he is in the Hunger Games. And yeah, I can't wait to read it. So these were all the books that I want to read this year, and I think I'm gonna love. Valentine's Day is the day of love, and I think I've shared some with my books. If you guys have reached this part of the video, please let me know which is one book that you think you're gonna love this year. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing Valentine's Day and an amazing weekend. I will see you next Friday with another video. Thank you again. Goodbye.